Jordan is one of the most diverse countries I've ever visited. It's bordered Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia and Israel, but also has a small coastline along the Red Sea separated by the Gulf of Aqaba from Egypt. My mom and I stayed in Jordan for 11 days, traveling every way by car from north to the south, and visited Umm Qais, Ajloun Castle, Roman city Jerash, Amman capital, Christian sites in Madaba, Mount Nebo and Bethany baptism sites, natural wonders of Dead Sea and Wadi Mujib Canyon, Kerak Castle, Dana Biosphere Natural Reserve, Shobak Castle, gorgeous Petra, Valley of the Moon, Wadi Rum and Aqaba. Our first day in Jordan was started with a day trip from Amman, visiting 3 significant sites on the northern part of the country. Qais is translated from Arabic as Mother of Qais, and famously known by the ruins of the Decapolis city of Gadara. It was well located on the trade route between Syria and Palestine, and it was ruled by the Romans as a part of the Decapolis League in around 63 BC. It became a popular holiday resort for Romans, and it was notable for attracting scholars, writers and artists. The site of Qais sits at the crossroads between 3 countries. From the edge of the village you can see the Syrian Golan Heights, Israeli Lake Tiberias and the northern Palestinian plains. Ajloun Castle is a 12th century Muslim fortress, strategically built on the 3 main passes into the Jordan Valley, under the rule of Sultan and the military leader Saladin. The castle protected the people from the Crusaders, who were camping on the other side of the Jordan Valley with several Bedouin camps. In the mid-13th century it was partly destroyed by the Mongols, but then restored again. It has been in use until early 19th century, when the earthquake destroyed most of it. Jerash is an impressive archaeological site located 45 kilometers from Amman, rising about 600 meters above sea level, and it's one of the largest and best preserved Greco-Roman cities, which earned the name Pompeii of the Middle East. Ancient Greek inscriptions support that the city was founded by Alexander the Great, who allegedly settled aged Macedonian soldiers on the 4th century BC, when he left Egypt and crossed Syria en route to Mesopotamia. With the Roman conquest of the area in 63 BC, General Pompey attached the city to the Decapolis, a league of 10 Hellenistic cities that enjoy considerable autonomy under Roman protection. In the 1st century AD, the city of Jerash achieved a great prosperity. It was absorbed into the Roman province of Arabia, which included the city of Philadelphia, nowadays Amman, Petra and Bostra. On the second day in Jordan, we explored Amman capital on foot. It's the largest city in the country, with population is about 5 million inhabitants, accounting of 40% Jordanian population. During the 2nd millennium BC, the city known as Rabat Amman was served as the capital of Eminate Kingdom, centered at the Amman Citadel. Citadel archaeological site is located on the city's highest hill, watches over the old town like a primeval guardian. The 2 giant standing pillars are the remains of Roman Temple of Hercules. It was built during the reign of Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the 2nd century AD. The only obvious remains are the parts of the podium and the columns, which are visible from around town. Umayyad Palace is the domed audience hall designed to impress visitors of the royal palace. The most intact of the buildings on the site is the hall, shaped like a cross, mirroring the Byzantine church over which it was built. A courtyard to the north of the hall leads to a 10 meters wide colonnade street, lined with the numerous arches and columns, and flanked by the residential administrative buildings. While walking down Citadel Hill, Amman Panorama Art Gallery has drawn our attention. It focuses on contemporary and modern art. The gallery boasts an impressive collection of paintings, sculptures, photography, and other works of visual art. Founded in 2008, Amman Panorama Art Gallery houses a collection of art enthusiasts from Jordan and surrounding countries. Roman theatre is the famous landmark and a highlight in the Jordan capital. It dates back to the Roman period when the city was known as Philadelphia. The theatre itself is cut on the northern side of the hill to keep the sun off the spectators and has a seating capacity of 6,000. Near the stage there are two heritage museums, the Folklore Museum and Museum of Popular Traditions, aimed to collect of Jordanian and Palestinian cultural heritage items, to protect and conserve this heritage and to present it for future generations. East of the Roman Public Square Forum, flanked by colonnade, is the Odeon, the smaller Roman auditorium for musical performances and concerts. Markets in Amman are also known as souks, are bustling with energy, people, and caters to diverse needs, providing a vast array of goods. This labyrinthine network of narrow alleyways, dating back to Ottoman era, and its unique blend of traditions and commerce. Souk al-Hodra is a market for the fresh products with some of the best vegetables and fruits in Amman, and it's a great place to pick up a quick snack or taste some local goodies. King Abdullah Mosque is the only mosque in Amman that openly welcomes non-Muslim visitors. Completed in 1989 as a memorial by the late King Hussein to his grandfather, this blue-domed landmark can house up to 7,000 worshippers, with a further 3,000 in the courtyard. The octagonal prayer hall is distinguished for not having pillars on side, with source of radiation placed in the middle in the form of the golden star. Near the entrance there is a small Islamic museum, including personal acquisitions and photos of late King Abdullah bin al-Hussein. My best recommendations for the restaurant in Amman. Sufra restaurant is housed in the lovely old villa in the beautiful lush garden. The family-style menu offers a selection of Bedouin dishes made with fermented goat yogurt, as well as lamb or chicken dish cooked over an open flame. Cave of the Seven Sleepers is an archaeological and religious site about 10 kilometers from Amman. It is believed that this cave housed the Seven Sleepers, the group of young men who, according to Byzantine Christian and Islamic sources, fled religious persecution of Roman Emperor Trajan. Legend has it that this man hid in a cave around 250 AD, emerging miraculously 309 years later. In the early 6th century, a small church was built over the cave, which was later converted into a mosque. It is now highly regarded as a site of pilgrimage for Muslims, and it's popular for its Friday sermons. We're leaving Amman and heading to Dead Sea, visiting 3 significant Christian biblical places on the way. The first one is Madaba Church. A modest 19th century Greek Orthodox church houses a treasure of early Christianity. The 6th century Madaba map on the floor is the oldest map of the Holy Land and the most exact before modern cartography was developed. Crafted in 560 AD, the map contained 2 million pieces and had 157 captions in Greek, depicting all the major biblical sites of the Middle East from Egypt to Palestine. According to the Old Testament, Mount Nebo is a place where Moses was granted a view of the Promised Land. A serpentine cross sculpture was created as a symbol of the miracle of the present serpent invoked by Moses in the wilderness, and the cross upon Jesus was crucified. A place of pilgrimage of early Christians from Jerusalem, a small church was built here in the second half of the 1st century to commemorate of the life and death of the man regarded as a prophet by all 3 religions, Judaism, Christianity and Islam. During the excavations, the basilica with chapels were found with original mosaics created on the walls and the floor in the year 530 AD. In the recent years, a new Moses Memorial Church was built over the ancient one, which provides better protection for the mosaics. The small museum on the border to Israel showcasing collection of artifacts and exhibits that tell the story of Bethany beyond the Jordan, which reputed to be the original location of the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist. The spring of John the Baptist, where Jesus Christ was baptized, is the most significant place of the Holy Land. In 2000, a place was sanctified with an open-air mass by Pope John Paul II. Greek Orthodox Church with its gilded domes boasts intricate frescoes and murals, ornately decorated with colorful iconography, heavy darkwood paneling, and sumptuous gold detailing. Jordan River runs along the border between Jordan and Israel, and here is the only place that civilians can currently touch the water in the entire Jordan. We're heading to Dead Sea, and I would like to recommend our accommodation at Mujib Chalet, conveniently located within walking distance from Wadi Mujib Canyon, that we are going to visit on the next morning. It's a small complex of 15 doubled rooms with breathtaking coastal views, which runs by Jordanian Royal Society for Conservation of Nature. The room cost is 90 dinars including breakfast. Due to the site's remote location, there is no shops or restaurants around. Mujib Chalet offers a dinner at its restaurant for 14 dinars per person extra. Mujib Biosphere Reserve is the lowest nature reserve in the world that enters the Dead Sea at 400 meters below sea level. Wadi Mujib Canyon counts 5 different wet and dry trails that open different periods of the year. The Sikh Trail is the one we adventured while visiting the area, known as the easiest one, and it's currently registered as the only trail accessible without a guide. The distance to cover is 2.5 kilometers and it takes 2-3 hours to complete. The price to enter is 23 dinars, which is about $33. The trail is marked as self-guided and it's great easy to moderate. Kerak Castle is an ancient fortress and is one of the most important castles in the region, and it has been a major stronghold for centuries. It was first built during the Crusader era in 1142, and it was initially constructed as a small fortification to protect the area from Muslim forces. Over time it grew into a much larger castle with multiple towers and walls, designed to protect the city from attack. Its strategic position transformed it into a wealthy center of power not only for military purposes, but a steady collection of taxes from trade caravans heading to Jerusalem. In 1198, the fortress fell under Muslim rule when Saladin, the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, besieged the castle. The charming 15th century stone village of Dana dangles beneath the King's Highway in the precipice, perched on the edge of the expansive Dana Biosphere Reserve, the largest nature reserve in the country at around 320 square kilometers, almost the same as the size of Malta. We stayed at this house, my grandfather's house, with the friendly owner Walid, who greeted us with a cup of tea. Originally, we booked a twin room which was not available, so he gave us a second room for free. In the evening, Walid organized a massive dinner for us in the traditional style, with the delicious home-cooked dishes. After the breakfast with the beautiful views on the surrounding mountains, we went for a hike with a guide which was booked by the host with a cost of 50 dinars, and it took us 4 hours to complete. Together with the local guide, the son of host Walid accompanied us as well. Dana Reserve offers some of the best possibilities for hiking in Jordan. You can find many hiking trails, from short hikes for just a few hours, or longer ones ranging from a day to several days, to even 40 days on the 600 kilometers long Jordan Trail. The reserve starts near the village at an altitude around 1700 meters. It plunges downwards to a point around 50 meters below sea level. The nature reserve was established in 1989 to protect the unique biodiversity of the region and to promote sustainable development. We visited imposing Shobak Castle on the way from Dana to Petra, which sits on a round hilltop site separated from the rest of plateau. The castle was built by the Crusaders in the 12th century and was strategically important due to the fact that it also dominated the main passage from Egypt to Syria. The Saladin, however, held the castle to tax not only traders, but also those who were on pilgrimages to Mecca and Medina. The rose city of Petra is a wonderland of an ancient civilization. It's UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is approached from the adjacent town of Wadi Musa, which is the accommodation and transport hub, and where we stayed for 3 nights at Sunset Hotel. The archaeological site is massive that stretches over 60 square kilometers, and we spent the full days exploring the ancient city. The first day we started from the main entrance heading to the Sea Canyon, which leads to the treasury. It's around 2.5 kilometers walk from the entrance to reach the basin. Sea Canyon is mesmerizing narrow gorge flanked by the stone cliffs rising up 80 meters high that served as a dramatic entrance to the ancient Nabatean city. The city of Petra was established as a trading post by the Nabateans, an Arab Bedouin tribe indigenous to the region. The Nabateans living and trading in Petra soon accumulated a significant amount of wealth, and an envious Greek empire attacked the city in 312 BC. This event marks the first reference to Petra in the recorded history. The Romans invaded Petra in 106 AD and ultimately forced the Nabateans to surrender. The Roman Empire annexed the newly gained territory and changed its name to Arabia. They continued to rule over the city for more than 250 years, until the earthquake destroyed many of its buildings. The Byzantines eventually took control of the region and governed Petra for some 300 years. For the places to eat, I would like to recommend nice traditional restaurant, My Mom Recipe, located few minutes walk from the main entrance. It's usually full for the dinner time. You have to indulge yourself with their hummus, nice pilaf and traditional meat offerings. The second day in Petra, we started from the back gate, located 9 kilometers from the town of Wadi Musa. Little Petra was established at the 1st century AD, but the Nabatean culture was at its peak in the region. It was the suburb of Petra meant to house visiting traders on the Silk Road, on their journeys towards faraway destinations such as Egypt, Syria and Mesopotamia. Little Petra was abandoned after the fall of the Nabatean kingdom in the 2nd century AD, after was used only by Bedouin nomads for centuries. One of the main benefits of taking the Backdoor trail is that you can skip ascending 800 steps when visiting the monastery from the main entrance, as going down is always generally much easier. Additionally, it's a one-way route, meaning you will not have to go through the same path twice. The trail follows a well-defined pathway and takes you through the rugged hills, lush canyons, and winding mountains with sweeping panoramas, some of the finest in Jordan. We've been approached many times offering a ride by the mule to the monastery. There are also donkeys, camels and horses around the site, but we don't recommend using them as there are concerns about animal welfare. The monastery, or deir, is a substantially larger structure than the treasury. It was built in the 1st century AD, served as a Nabatean royal tomb, and later used as a Christian monastery. From the monastery, you can take the 7 kilometers trail back to the entrance, which takes you down 800 steps, being ancient professional route by the Nabateans. As you wind through the canyon, you eventually reach the bottom and come out to Qasr al-Bint, the main religious temple of the Nabateans. The terminus gate marks the entrance to the sacred courtyard of Qasr al-Bint, separating the commercial area of the city from the sacred area of the temple. Built in the 2nd century AD, the gateway originally had huge wooden doors and side towers. The Great Temple is an imposing structure for worship and community gatherings that covers an area of 7,500 square meters. The complex includes the monumental staircase, a large courtyard, and various chambers and halls adorned with intricate architectural details. The next stop is Wadi Rum Desert, a Mars-like landscape on planet Earth. At the visitor center, we changed the taxi to the four-wheel drive jeep that took us for a safari through the desert. The tour lasts for 3-4 hours and we paid 80 dinars for two. Wadi Rum, with its red sand and strange-shaped rock formations, looks so alien that its nickname is the Valley of the Moon. It's a large area of 720 square kilometers, nearly as large as New York City. Hazali Canyon opens up in a narrow fissure in about 100 meters length. Its inner walls are covered with Talmudic, Nabatean and Islamic inscriptions, as well as petroglyphs depicting humans and animals. One of its famous inhabitants is the Talmud people, living here from at least the 8th century BC, which was a nomadic tribe related to the mysterious Nabateans and referred to as Arabs in the Quran. Currently, its inhabitants are mainly Bedouins, about several hundreds of them living in their goat hair tents and concrete houses in the Rum village. They are kind, hospitable people, always ready to offer a cup of tea. Wadi Rum has 3 well-known rock arches and little bridge is the smallest one. The rock bridge is 4 meters above the rocks below and around 7 meters above the valley floor, making it relatively easy to climb for visitors. The camel is the favorite animal of the Bedouins and a symbol of male pride. Camel racing is an important sport for the Bedouins, allowing them to engage in male competition and to establish manhood and power within the community. Bridge is one of the most photographed places in Wadi Rum. The bridge is about 15 meters high from the desert floor. It is an impressive structure, a massive stone slab balanced between 2 tall peaks. One of the best moments of a day in Wadi Rum is sitting on the rock with a cup of black Bedouin tea and waiting for the breathtaking sunset. As the sun set over, the rolling landscape of Wadi Rum lit up in different hues. Camping is the best way to enjoy tranquil magic night in Wadi Rum. We stayed at Candles Camp in the tent with private bathroom, heating, and big windows with panoramic views on the surrounding desert. We paid for the tent 50 dinars, which includes dinner and breakfast. The food served in the camp was a traditionally cooked zap of meat and vegetables. It had been buried and dug out underground hole, filled with flaming hot coals and covered with blankets and sand, cooking away for the whole day. In Aqaba, we had 1.5 days, but unfortunately I seriously strained my foot and couldn't walk. Sorry guys for not having more about Aqaba. For the flights back home, I had to order a wheelchair to manage through the airports. Now everything is good, so see you on the next adventure.